Hello, Jose.
Hello, Rasmus.
My name is Rasmus, and I'm here today with Jose Figueroa. Is it right? Figueroa.
Figueroa,
Uh,
Figueroa. You don't
Figueroa.
pronounce the U. Figueroa.
Figueroa. Okay, cool.
Correcto.
So you are a specialist of ancient esoterics and metaphysics and magic. Am I right? Or do you want to add something?
And healing.
And healing. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't consider myself an specialist. I consider myself somebody who is very, very passionate
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
these things and that have done a lot of research
Mm-hmm.
and still learning and now also sharing along the way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the first thing I want to ask from you is what is esoterics for you, and how do you use it in our everyday life?
Thank you. This is an excellent proposal, Rasmus. Esoterics. Let's go into the of the word. Esoterics come from the Greek esos, that means inner. So esoterics means the inner teachings, the inner work. Esoterics with S versus exoterics with X. Now, exoterics with X will be the information, the teachings that will be shared with everybody. They will be public knowledge. They will be in philosophical, theological, religious text. And this will be shared by everybody, and it will be part of even religious dogma of whatever religion.
Okay.
And then you have the esoterics with S, that will be the teachings that are taught to an inner cycle, to what it has been called the initiates, the adepts, the people interested in studying the deep wisdom of the very fabric of reality, the wisdom that will be revealed only to a few, to a select few, because these people will have an interest in learning the nitty-gritty, the unofficial, the secret traditions within actually each religion in the world, East and West. And when I talk about religion, I talk about all kinds of religions and even ancient philosophical movements. And they all have these esoterics with S.
Mm-hmm.
And when we look at these esoteric teachings with the eyes of the 21st century, we get a lot of surprises because we see a common thread of knowledge, of wisdom, that joins all of these apparently separated religions and understandings of cosmos, and it talks about what we will call universal truth. And each of these movements, philosophical tendencies, religions, will focus on different aspects of this secret knowledge, universal truth. And there is so much literature on this, is fascinating. And with time, this knowledge that for many centuries was kept secret, and we can talk about it later why this was kept secret. Mm-hmm. Now in the 20th and 21st century has started to become more widely available. It started in the beginning of the 20th century with a bunch of people called the Theosophians, And from there, it evolved into what today we know as the New Age movement.
Okay.
So when you look at the different techniques, belief systems, workshops, books written on what we now will look as current uh, spiritual, or what people call spiritual thinking, you will see that it's always connected to these ancient traditions. This is where people that has written all these books and done all these workshops and retreats and videos and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook is absolutely full of this. These people has drunk, so to speak, from all these ancient traditions. However, most of the times, a lot of the times, what we are now consuming in this new age movement is very much out of context.
Okay.
Very much out of context.
So, so we can use it, the esoterics, like with a spiritual growth side of life in everyday life.
Yes, you can. In fact, esoterics is about understanding and raising consciousness
Okay.
of yourself, in yourself, and of the outside reality. One of the laws, if not the first law, that the esoterics talks about is about reality itself, and it says, "As is above, is below." As we see, the microcosmos is actually expressing the macrocosmos, and vice versa. So when you start to see the world in terms of macrocosmos and microcosmos, and where they meet, and what that means, and the implications of it, then you are thinking as an esoterist.
Okay. So how do you view this perception of like we are all one?
Oneness. Oneness is both a reality and at the same time, from the place in which the current human consciousness is, an impossibility.
Okay.
What do I mean by this? Many years ago, many years ago, my first teacher, my first esoteric teacher, I was about 14 years old. He came up with a very beautiful way of putting this. Very beautiful way of putting this. Now imagine a battery, and connected to this battery, you have thousands, even millions of light bulbs. So this battery is producing electricity. And this electricity is being expressed through these millions of light bulbs. And you will have light bulbs of all shapes and sizes, and even voltage. So you will have small ones, you will have big ones, you will have strange shaped ones, you will have, X voltage and Y voltage. And each of these individual light bulbs will see itself as an individual for as long as the electricity is running. But in reality, the electricity is feeding all of them. So now look at human beings.
Okay, I see. It's a really simple explanation.
He was a genius.
Okay. Beautiful.
So this is what we have to understand, is that although our individual consciousness is trapped in our individual light bulb, in reality, that light bulb is just a temporary expression of the electricity.
Okay.
And when that light bulb breaks, the electricity simply leaves that particular light bulb, but continues in the circuit. We will say that goes back to the battery, or simply just joins that current of electricity that now is illuminating the other light bulbs. Okay. So, as I said, it's a reality, but we are not necessarily conscious part of it. I actually watched a movie not that much ago called Lucy. Lucy, Lucy. And although it's a movie full of violence, welcome to Hollywood, and that it manages not to address a whole number of things. It has an interesting point connected to what I have just talked about. So if you can deal with the violence, it's not too bad. I mean, it's normal, unfortunately, for these days. It has a very interesting point. Is science fiction, of course, and is looking very much at the brain and the capacity for the brain to be, fully operational and blah, 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 blah. But it has a very interesting point, especially towards the end. As I said, it doesn't address many, many things. It's an action movie, a lot of people dying totally gratuitously. But it has an interesting point, so I recommend it. There's a lot of very interesting knowledge going around in the collective. So I hope that I somehow has helped with this idea of oneness.
Of course.
It's a reality, but we are not aware of it. And it is said that perhaps the way forward is to actually be able to be in the light bulb while being aware of the whole collective, and this may be called enlightenment.
Yeah.
I leave it there.
Of course. Things start to happen in life all differently when you start to experience or feel the oneness.
Yes, as I said, for the majority of us, is a concept, it's an intellectual concept, it's not something that we see or feel.
Actually, I myself have felt this. It's quite usual for me for about a year now. It's a really, really amazing feeling, like being all over the place, but at the same time only here in myself, and synchronicities in my life are just flowing and flowing and flowing. When I'm falling down, then something happens, I process my things, I come up again, and again I feel whole, like the what it is, thyroid body feel. It's really interesting, but
amazing.
I believe it's not for everyone. The journey into this has been a really, really big one. I know it's very complicated and deep, but can you please tell us, me and the viewers, shortly about how this esoterics and metaphysics and healing is related? How it's related with healing?
Well, the phenomena of healing is in itself esoterical in nature as well as metaphysical. Now, what do I mean by this? See, you just open up a very big box there. When we look at the way that healing is presented, especially today's days in what we will call the new age current, energy healing, Reiki in particular, any other healing technique that involves energy work. We have to understand that this comes from somewhere, all of this. Nobody in the 21st century, neither in the 20th century, just came up with something completely new and never seen before, etc., etc., etc. All of this comes from very, very ancient traditions, no matter what. To give you an example, even the concept of atoms, atomic structures, and atomic energy, which everybody will think, oh, this is very much 20th century. The Americans have somehow discovered this. No, the ancient Greeks were talking about this. Before the Greeks, the Vedas were talking about this in very, very, very exact detail. Okay. So we haven't come up with anything new. We have invented many artifacts and machines and sensors and etc., etc., and we have gone deep into these things. Of course, being human beings and being where we are, we have come up with beautiful ways to kill each other using this stuff. You see, we're very, very good at coming up with bombs to kill millions of people. And we haven't still found a cure for the common cold. This says a lot about the nature of human consciousness, basically. So don't get me talking about the common cure about the cure for common cold, because then we will go into very fun territory.
But for now, I wanted to ask you about Reiki, because Reiki has been for me the most important step to achieve this kind of how to say it, like state inside of me. What's Reiki is?
Oof. Well, Reiki is, for me, and it's been for the last 20 years of my life, the tool that I have used for both growth and as a tool to aid other people in their processes. And as you know, I teach it.
Yes.
But I don't actually teach Reiki as such. I teach Reiki, I teach intuitive Japanese Reiki within a larger idea, within a larger set of concepts, ideas, and practices, all interconnected, of course, under the esoteric traditions of both the East and the West. And this is called intuition, compassion, and consciousness, the mysteries of healing, the esoteric traditions, and the secrets of Reiki. And this is what I've been teaching for the last 20 years. And this is what you have experienced yourself.
Yes, I have. And also, I've done this for people for about 4 years now. That's a big thing. But for everyone who's watching or seeing this, who doesn't know anything about Reiki, or thinks it's like some kind of woo-woo strange thing and wants to
Woo
like,
woo, blah blah. Yes.
yeah, how,
Well,
how, how would you explain it?
okay. Well, Reiki is originally a tradition that comes from Japan, and the man that gave it to the world was Usui Sensei, Mikao Usui. Sensei in Japanese is teacher, the same as Sifu in Chinese. A teacher, a master, somebody who, according to the story, reached Satori. Satori is a moment of oneness, of fully understanding. And this man has this moment of oneness, this moment of Satori in Mount Kurama. And he started teaching Reiki. Now, Reiki is the capacity to transfer Reiki, which, to put it very mildly, is universal energy that has a healing effect, a harmonizing healing effect. And this you can give to yourself and you can give to other people. And it has a number of levels that you go through over time in order for you to learn what to do with this energy, how to give it to yourself, how to give it to other people, and how to also apply it in the later levels to even situations and people long distance, including yourself and others. So you start playing with time and space. It's a very, very, very fascinating reality. And this man, Mikao Usui, he came from very specific traditions. And I have dedicated many, many years of research to Reiki itself and to his life. This is why I eventually went to Japan and I did a lot of research there, because healing has always been for me the meeting point of where everything of any importance to me met. I've been studying the esoteric traditions and mysticism and spirituality since the age of 14. And then at the age of 16, I was initiated into energy healing and magic. Yes, magic. What you will call theurgia. And for many, 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 many years, all of this was a hobby, was something that I investigated, that I work with, that I study. And then later on, when I was 36, Reiki came into my life. And a very, very big circle suddenly closed. And I could understand, I could see a lot of things. Because everything that I've been learning from a very young age suddenly met Reiki and allowed me to see Reiki with a much wider understanding because of the experience that I had and the study that I have done over the years on the ancient traditions of the East and the West. And then that sent me forward into an even bigger, deeper journey to not only understand the healing phenomena, but to understand actually the Reiki phenomena. And this is what I've been doing for nearly the last 20 years. So, and this is why I eventually came up with this series of workshops and retreats, which is what I do now, called Intuition, Compassion, and Consciousness, the Ancient Traditions, the Mysteries of Healing, and the Secrets of Reiki. Because what I do is as you know, I join the dots between all these apparently far away different traditions and knowledge and understandings, and I help people see where they meet and how they make sense, and allow us to experience energy work, energy healing, consciousness, spirituality connected to its actual ancient esoteric traditions. Whatever they are, Eastern esoteric traditions like Shintoism and Lamaism and Taoism, or Western traditions as Kabbalah, Theosophy, and a multitude of esoteric teachings coming from different sources. And this is what I've been doing for the last 20 years, and this is what I still doing, within my humble limitations.
Okay.
Basically.
Yes, it's as I've been in your retreats. Every time I come there, and when I leave, I'm like in a totally different place in my life, like 360 degrees different place. Uh, with my mind, I can't explain this, but I have a like knowing inside of me that of course it's going to happen like this. Like when you're ready, you are there, you get the initiation, you get the knowledge, and the best part is the knowledge what you talked about, because as you connect the dots so well, they come into my mind, so I can use them in my everyday life, like actually everyday life, dealing with different situations. It's
That
so
means that you
beautiful.
have understood the core,
Yeah, I believe so. But
because so
still,
go on, please.
still, every time I have I have to learn something new, because every time I perceive the things I get from you, the teachings, on a new level.
Well, you are obviously somebody that has the capacity to absorb, to understand, and then to implement. And at the end of the day, as you know, you are just receiving from, in this case, me, information and transmissions that you are more than ready to receive, and that somehow they're there already, and just the outside instrument for you to continue receiving. And then you yourself, you come out to your own conclusions, and ultimately this is, your own individual, private consciousness and understanding. So, but thank you for your appreciation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. From that, what you talked, I hear that thought that just went away. But okay. Um, Another thing I wanted to ask you is, if people like me, or from wherever, wants to learn with you those esoteric teachings, Reiki, healing, metaphysics, um, can they do it? It's a interesting question. Can they do it via online or with online courses? Of course, I know the answer, but I would like to hear it so the viewers here can hear it also. And why is this so? Why it's so important?
Well, before the pandemic in 2020, I was constantly traveling around the world, teaching in person. I have given workshops from California all the way to Tokyo, passing by Johannesburg, basically. And I done it also all over Europe, north, south, east, west, central. because I am very, very fond of the direct transmissions. Also because I like to try and be of aid and monitor what's happening during the workshops, during the retreats, and like to make myself available. Now, when the pandemic struck in 2020, I found myself going way beyond, way beyond my comfort zone. And I found myself doing workshops online. And I even found myself doing something that I never thought I would do. Let alone level 1A and 1B, 2A and 2B and so on of intuition, compassion and consciousness, where I actually did the transmissions online, the teachings online, people practice. It was very fascinating because theoretically, I knew that I could do it, but I found myself having to. And I realized that it worked. It worked perfectly. And, I had people that I have actually never met in person. And now they are fully trained and they're earning a living as therapists and even teachers, because they did the whole education, 3-year education with me online, basically, because of the pandemic and what happened afterwards and everything. I even did a mastership online.
Okay.
And there are people out there perfectly qualified as teachers of intuition, compassion, and consciousness that receive all of this online.
Okay.
So life is very interesting, and it forces us out of our comfort zone, and it makes us grow. So now that luckily we are not in the senses, I am still doing things online, and I am also doing face-to-face, in-person workshops and retreats. So I am doing things both ways. I am not doing intuition, compassion, and consciousness workshops online anymore. I'm doing them in person. What I'm doing online is the soul coaching, karmic patterns, and backflow remedies. This I am doing online. Now I'm focusing in doing the workshops in person, and I also doing retreats where people come from different parts of the world. What I'm doing a lot of online is energy healing and soul coaching. This I am doing because I have clients all over the world. So okay. I see them online, and I do everything online, as well as of course in person. So obviously I prefer things face to face always. I much prefer it, but online works perfectly and wonderfully. So I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, of course.
And I like to add something, Rasmus, because you mentioned something that is actually super important. Super important. Because you said that what you have learned in the intuition, compassion, and consciousness workshops, you find yourself applying it in your everyday. And this is super important. Super important. Because bona fide, proper esoterics are always extremely practical. Extremely. Because the way I understand and I see esoterics is how we can consciously interact both with ourselves and with the reality around us, and how we understand it and how we see it through these new esoteric eyes, and how we can help ourselves and help others deal with this most complex reality, full of challenges, and how we can actually, through consciousness, grow and make this reality work for us and not against us. And you are obviously got your lessons very well because you are applying it and using it and living life through a deeply understanding, an esoteric understanding.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, but I see that we talk a lot about therapists, and you can use Reiki in therapies to help other people, etc. And you can also help yourself and use it in your everyday life. But I just wanted to zoom in the idea that how just ordinary man or woman coming from the street can use Reiki in his or her life, uh, not have to be like a therapist, just in
Thank you.
personal
Thank you
use.
for this question because it's important. You see, Reiki is all about alignment. Reiki is about raising your frequency, raising your consciousness. So as you give yourself Reiki and you meditate with it and you work with it, because there's many ways to work with Reiki beyond what people normally understand Reiki to be, you actually grow in consciousness and in well-being and in alignment. You see, Reiki, if you understand what you're doing, if you understand well what you're doing and the concepts and the tools, and as I said, all of this is coming from very ancient traditions, secret traditions. It can help you to align yourself to your higher self, align yourself to your soul purpose, push you, because it pushes you really on the right direction. It pushes you to confront issues, to heal, and it helps you to be where you need to be. And this is really very valuable, extremely valuable. And this is why I get up in the morning every day and I continue doing what I'm doing, because it's a very beautiful thing to pass on. And one of the things that again and again and again I see very beautifully working out in people's lives and in my life is how your intuition develops. So it goes beyond learning this intuitive healing, which is super interesting, but it helps you to connect to your intuition and to receive direct messages, right? Direct understandings to actually help you to navigate. And your intuition becomes this very, very solid sixth sense that is with you all the time. And that is so beautiful, this connection. And then the other side that I find super beautiful is how people become more and more truly compassionate, more and more free of judgment, and fill up with consciousness. Because you see, judgment is the opposite to consciousness. The more conscious you are, the less judgmental you are.
Yes.
And how people's lives is transformed by this, because they have understood, like really integrate and understood the deep down compassion, which is an art. And this is one of the things that I see again and again flourishing in people's lives, although they may not decide to be professional therapists, but they really grow in intuition and they grow in compassion, and they become a source of compassion for other people, and that's very beautiful.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, thank you for that. Another thing I was just thinking when you talked was that where have Reiki been lost in like translation in a time. So I know that a lot of Reiki therapists, a lot of Reiki masters are teaching Reiki all over the world. But there have been a lot of context lost, and even professional therapists, masters who have taught it tens or 10, 15, 20 years don't know actual context.
Well, this is a very, very complex and delicate subject.
Mm-hmm.
One of the beautiful things about Reiki is that independently of the understanding that people may have of it, the energy is there, the energy is present. And it's going to definitely help people, and it's going to definitely help them transform themselves, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, the way that Reiki was first taught in Japan, and then the way that it traveled to North America via Hawaii, and then North America to Europe via Germany. This is a fascinating story. I've done a lot of research on this, like a lot of research. It's one of the reasons I went to Japan in 2011, and I met and interviewed a lot of Japanese Reiki masters, and I took teachings from them. I did a very, very large research
Mm-hmm.
on all of this. And I also, because of my knowledge, my understanding that I have received from the esoteric tradition, from the Eastern esoteric tradition, this helped me a lot to be able to join dots and to fill blank spaces and to know where to go to try to find answers.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have come to realize is that there is so much more to Reiki in so many different ways. Like so many different ways. That is like really is amazing. And again, everybody receives what they are ready to receive. And some people have received this version or that version of Reiki, and this is fine. And with that, they have grown and they have helped people. Some people have took this and ran with it. Other people have take it and then leave it for something else. And, it's all part of the development of human consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody eventually ends up attracting whatever they need to attract in order to grow with this. Mm-hmm. So I have just, as the result of my life experience and my practice, I have come to a number of conclusions, and I have received a number of initiations and empowerments and transmissions, and I have practiced this for 20 years around the world. And it's very much to do with, as I said, joining the dots and understanding where quantum physics, transpersonal psychology, physiology, medicine, metaphysics, magic, and ancient traditions meet. Because they do meet. They do meet. And they make sense. And this is what I share with, within my limitations. Mm-hmm. And for many people, they don't feel the call for this at all. They're happy with what they have. And then other people, they feel the call. They want, they feel that perhaps, this is why I chose these 3 words that for me are super important: intuition, compassion, and consciousness. Mm-hmm. Because for the people that resonate with this, and then with the esoteric traditions, ancient traditions, mysteries of healing, if you resonate with this, then, you end up arriving. And for other people, they don't resonate with this, they don't feel it, and this is perfectly fine. There's other places for people to go and receive whatever it is that their soul is ready to receive. and this is perfectly fine. I don't pretend to have, the knowledge of like absolutely everything, and to be, the one that knows the most about anything. I just
Yes.
sharing,
Yes. That's
giving my limitations, basically.
Yeah, that's the beautiful and humble thing that you always say, that you're not the guru. You're
Oh,
just you giving the
I'm
knowledge
not even
you
I'm
have.
not even a spiritual teacher or anything like that. No, but I am not. I am not. I'm just sharing. I do what I can. I'm the
Yeah,
eternal student, and
exactly.
this is what I'm doing constantly all the time. I'm studying,
Hmm.
looking for knowledge, looking for wisdom. I attract what I attract, and I do what I can, basically, and I'm forever growing like everybody else. So it's like,
That is
this
what's
is how this is.
yeah, that is what's getting us forward. So I wanted to ask you, Jose, uh, about special moments in your past about healing.
Well, there is a lot of special moments. There is a lot of special moments, and I'm gonna share one that happened to me some years ago, and that was a before and after. It was a before and after because it was very, 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 very powerful, and it made me aware of where we stood in this. I was teaching in Norway at the time, and I was having a coffee with somebody uh, at the Oslo Opera House outside. It was Sunday, one of the few Sundays that I had free at the time because I was doing workshops almost every weekend, and I was having a coffee with this person and relaxing outside. It was summer. I was wearing some shorts and t-shirt. I was unshaven, just chilling. And there were a group of people also having some coffee outside the Oslo Opera House. Group of people, I don't know, 20 people, very well dressed, all ready to go into the opera. And for some reason, I found myself staring at this couple, middle-aged couple, and staring at the lady in this couple. I was having a coffee with my friend, and suddenly my eyes couldn't help just going into these ladies. And suddenly it was a very weird experience because I have felt it before, but not so intensively. So I have felt it before while actually giving Reiki to people. And somehow suddenly I felt it again, but very, very powerfully. And I realized that it was not me looking at this lady. That it was something else looking through me. This is the most weird experience ever. It was it's very difficult to explain. Imagine that you feel something is looking through you, and your consciousness is attached to this thing that is looking through your eyes, and you are observing that something is looking through you. Trust me, this is like very, very particular experience. And suddenly I found myself aware that something was looking through me at this lady. It was quite away, like down there. And suddenly I realize I get this information. You see, this I was used to because, while you're doing the healing, you receive information.
Mm-hmm.
For many different people, they receive it in different ways. Some people is more visual. For other people, it's like, they get told things. For other people, they get like visions, colors, it really, and that is a very interesting, actually, thing to talk about one day. So for me, it was about this very strong understanding that I have to go and talk to this lady about Reiki. I have to go there and talk to her.
Uh-huh.
Like, it was super weird. And I said to my friend, actually, this is going to sound a bit weird, but I feel I have to go there and talk to that lady about Reiki. And my friend said, oh my God, Jose, please, can you please disconnect? This is your day off. I mean, please. And also, please do not make me embarrassed. This is not Spain. This is Norway. You cannot just go up to people and talk to them like this and tell them about Reiki. I mean, what are you talking about? Please don't embarrass me. I don't want to know. I don't want to look. If you do this, I don't want to know. And also, we'll talk later because, you really cannot do these things. And I said to her, okay, sure. I agree, of course, As I was saying this, I felt this very, very strong information coming down that says, no, you have to go. And you have to go now, as in now. And this is the most weird sensation. Trust me, Rasmus. And I say to this thing that was talking to me, I don't hear voices, thank God for that. But I get the command, I get it. And I said to this, no, I'm not going there. And then suddenly, my body just moved, as in to get up. And I went, oh shit. I mean, okay, they or it or whatever it is, they can actually move my body. They are showing me this. And this was spooky. And at the same time, it wasn't. I was amazed. You see, I've been practicing, by this time, I've been practicing a lot in being a channel, in allowing energy and information to come through me to somebody else in the form of healing or talking or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So suddenly, they were using my channel. And it felt absolutely weird, but amazing. And I got, again, this very strong command, go and talk to this lady about Reiki now. And then I said, okay, I have to do this. And I said to my friend, I'm sorry, but I really have to go there. And my friend goes, oh my God, I don't want to see this. I really don't want to see this. Please, Jose, don't do this to me. Don't embarrass me. I said, I'm sorry, I have to go. So I got up, I walked up, all the way to where all these people were. And I go in front of this lady that was with her husband. And I said, oh, hello, I'm sorry to disturb you. And I can see both of them are looking at me, they're looking at each other. And I could virtually read their minds. Like, oh my God, this is some kind of crazy foreigner that is going to ask us for money or something like this. And, they were looking at each other and they were looking around and I could read their minds. Literally, they were thinking, where is security? Where is security? And I could see this and I said to myself, oh my God, I am really getting into trouble. So in that moment, I said to myself or to this force, whatever it was that was talking and working through me, I said to it, okay, I am here. I done it. Please help me. And as I said this, because I didn't know what to say, and I said, as I thought this, as I sent this message, I felt totally overpowered by this force. And it was the most weird experience. And I had some weird experiences in my life, trust me. And I could observe myself being taken over and my mouth open. And I said, in the sweetest manner possible, I said to this lady, looking at her to the eye, I said to her, don't worry, it's okay. It's all to do with the energy that is coming out of your hands. And as I said this, the woman jumped in her seat. And so did her husband. Her husband went all the colors you can think of. Red, green, blue, and then white. And his jaw dropped. Ladies looking at me. And this lady looked at me and she started to cry. And she said, oh my God, and you felt you have to come to me and say this now here? And this voice said, my voice said, yes, I felt it. And you need to hear this. And the woman just started crying. And she looked at her husband. And she said, do you see? I'm not crazy. I am not crazy. And she looked at me and said, thank you, whoever you are. Thank you. Thank you. Because for the last 6 months or year, I don't remember, to be honest, this is many years ago, I've been having this experience where suddenly in the middle of the day, but especially in the middle of the night, somehow my hands activate and I feel all this heat and I get so hot. And I feel I have to put my hands on my daughter and on my husband. And I feel this energy. And I don't know what to do with it. And the doctor says it's because I am premenopausic. And they want to put me on some psychiatric medication. And I said to her, you don't need to. Don't worry. Where are you from? In Norway. And she said, oh, I am from Tromsø. I am here today for the opera. In fact, we arrived late and we are waiting for the pausa to enter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will go back to Tromsø later tonight. And I said to her, excellent. When you go back to Tromsø, Google, find a Reiki master. And I wrote it for her, Reiki. Said, found a Reiki master that can initiate you and give you a workshop so that you know what to do with your hands. And she just cried and she said, thank you, you cannot imagine. This is amazing. And the husband was still with his jaw, like this, like he couldn't believe what was happening. And in that moment, after I gave to her, I wrote it the name Reiki so that she could Google it, find it. The door of the opera house opened and they could rush in because it was the break, it was the pausa. This is why from the other side they were telling me to go now. So I went back to where my friend was. My friend was also with a jaw like this because he hasn't heard the conversation, but he saw the reaction of the lady and the husband. She saw the lady crying and the husband like this. And she asked me what happened. And I told her what happened. And she was amazed. And she said, okay, Jose, never again will I tell you not to talk to somebody if you feel to. And the most amazing thing was that as we were going back, suddenly, as I was going up some escalators, I have this massive moment where I got this information. This is very difficult to explain for somebody that hasn't got these moments of suddenly receiving information. And I got this information and I was shown this image of a red telephone. Do you remember in the movies, the red telephone in the Cold War? They still have it. If the president of the United States needs to talk quickly to the Russian leader, just going direct for direct talk without anybody in between. They used to have this red telephone. So I got this red telephone in front of me, and with a message. And the message was, you have to understand that you have a red telephone to us. And it's very important that you understand that this telephone doesn't work like you think. This telephone is not for you to get in touch with us. It's for us to get in touch with you and tell you what to do. I got this, and it was like I was speechless. And that day, I understood.
Wow. I'm speechless too.
That day I understood. And after that, a lot of things just, fascinating.
This is amazing.
And it's, what are the probabilities of this happening? Finding a lady with this, being told what to say, and then this message afterwards. It was a very, very powerful experience. Very powerful experience.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Jose.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Rasmus, for this time. And I'm sure we will continue with our talks.
Yes, we will. We'll see. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing, for all that. I really appreciate it, and I believe all the viewers also do appreciate it. So thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you for letting me share with you this. For me, this experience of the red telephone is a very, 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 very personal experience, and I wasn't planning to talk about this actually, but it came, and for me, ideally, I like to give people the transmissions and the information, the attunements, the empowerments, whatever you want to call it, that helps them to connect with this red telephone too.
Okay, really good.
So we can become useful tools for that supra consciousness that is trying to guide us and help us. This is like the message, really. Let's become all of us a tool. Okay, that is really beautiful message. It's really simple. Let's become a tool. Become a tool that is connected to this, and that we can receive the information for our own good and for our own benefit and the benefit of everybody else. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. See you another time. See you another time. Thank you.